Welcome to What Are You Sporting About podcast, a podcast about business, employment, sports, and entertainment to help educate, support, and guide you to your next level. Here's your host, attorney Sivonnia DeBarros.
Hello and good morning, everybody. It is Sivonnia DeBarros, protector of athletes. I am also the founder and principal attorney of the S.L. DeBarros law firm, and I'm super excited that I am before you yet again today to talk about something that is so important. Before we dive right into it, though, I want to remind you to get your ticket for the Athletes Making Moves book launch. Tickets are going, guys. So I want you to secure your seat because this is going to be phenomenal. We're going to do some things that are different. Make sure that you are engaged the entire time of this launch. So do not forget the Athletes Making Moves book launch. You can get your book by clicking the link below my screen here. You see that bit.ly/AMM-book launch. So make sure that you get your tickets. Get your tickets now. Get your tickets now. So for today's topic, I'm going to talk about conflicts of interest because it's something that's so important. I don't think a lot of people take time to think about the conflicts that come up in their relationships, in their businesses, and with the people who they may want to engage with or do some form of business with. And so this is very important, especially for my young student athletes who now have the opportunity to monetize their name, image, and likeness. How do you recognize a conflict of interest? And if you have a conflict of interest, how do you resolve it? Okay, so conflicts of interest come up all the time in law. So as you know, I'm an attorney by trade, and I'm going to give you some examples because I don't want you to put yourself in a position where there is what I call an internal conflict where someone that you've hired to represent you in some form of fashion is worried about what they're getting versus the services that they are providing you. And I call that an internal conflict. Sometimes there are external conflicts where individuals that you're working with, there could be multiple people. Say that you're working with one professional and now there's someone else that either they want to pull in or you may want to pull them in, and you've realized that they've worked together before in the past. It could be a conflict if they've received services from each other or vice versa. So how do I identify if there is a conflict? So let me give you one example. So one of my really, really good friends, who's also an attorney who I also help work on some of her files, she represents two beautiful, like amazing businesses. And these two clients ended up wanting to do business with each other. Well, as their lawyer, there's already a conflict of interest with her trying to represent both parties. So what she did was she called me and said, look, I have these clients. They're trying to do this business deal. I can't do it for them because I represent both of them. Can you step in to represent one of them? Absolutely. So there we have a bona fide conflict of interest where there's one professional who represents both of the parties, but now the parties want to do business with each other. So that will create a bona fide conflict of interest. There's another example where one of my clients who I represent, but the other individual I've only done a consultation with before, but we have plans to work together in the future. Well, the fact that I've already given the other party advice in some form of fashion creates a conflict of interest. And especially if I want to make sure that I maintain a clean slate to work with this individual in the future, I don't want to put myself in a position where now I am dealing with legal issues and business issues for one party and I've already consulted with another party before who actually may be my client, that will create another bona fide conflict of interest. But let me give you an example of something that I call an internal conflict of interest. So I have a case where I'm representing one of my clients for a financial issue, breach of financial and representation. The representation was from someone who she knows, who is very close to her. It's not a financial agent, no one with like me as a lawyer, no professional title, let's put it like that. And my client's financial dealings were changed over to a new company because of this person's statement that she knew the individual at the other company, that my client's financial state would be safe there and everything. Well, turns out that was not true. And so there's a conflict there, because now we're looking at why would someone want to urge another person to make a decision about their life or their business that is detrimental to them? What is the other part? What does the other party stand to gain? Right. And so I can't go into details of this case because it is still ongoing. But I wanted to give you a small little backdrop like that because it creates an internal conflict. And there are some individuals out there who may want to give you certain advice and hope that you follow it for purposes of trying to figure out what they themselves have to gain from you or your business. And it's important, not only is it important for you to really make sure that you're discerning those issues, but to trust yourself, like trust your gut. If you already have something in place and it's serving you well, what is the point of you doing something else? What is the point, right? And so this conversation is all around protection, because I do believe that a lot of professional representatives have great intentions, but I also feel that sometimes people are too worried about what they can receive from a relationship and never think about how best to protect that relationship, not think about the conflicts that come up in those relationships, or the conflicts that come up in business. And that is just, that's a bad situation. Because at the end of the day, if you're dealing with someone who will not take the time to make sure that they are not creating a conflict of interest for you, your business, your brand, and even if they do see that there's one and they fail to resolve it, I mean, it could be disastrous. So I just want you to recognize types of conflicts that can come up. How do you dispel them? So here's one thing that I do for my clients, and especially if it's someone that I worked with before, but maybe I don't represent this client anymore, and now there's someone else who wants to come in who knows this person or have dealings with this person, or maybe maybe I've given them a consult or something. Like, what I would do is have them sign an express waiver of conflict. The first thing I do is I disclose that there may be a possible conflict of interest here. Okay, I disclose that with my client, with the person that I'm working with or going to work with. I disclose particularly what the conflict is that I think it is. And if that other party still wants to work with me, okay, you can work with me, but we have to sign a waiver of conflict of interest, because I don't want this to be an issue that comes up later and then you say that you don't know. So if you know that there is a conflict, or maybe a conflict, or it has the potential of creating a conflict, one thing that you can do is not work with the other party that creates a conflict. Two, if it's something that's small, and this is somebody that either you or your representative has maybe done business with in the past and it's been a little while ago, well, you know what? It may be safe for you to go ahead and sign an express waiver of conflict of interest, or your professional representative, whoever it may be. It could be you being the party to sign the waiver. It could be the professional, the person you're doing business with, to sign a conflict of waiver. So those are ways that you can resolve the conflict. But the biggest issue is identifying that one exists so that you can remain protected. So we will talk about this more at the Athletes Making Moves book launch. I want you to get your ticket. It is next Saturday at 1:30 Central Standard Time. We are going to have fun. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So I hope you are in the room. Make sure you get your tickets at bit.ly/AMM-book launch. I will also drop that link in the comments. And until then, guys, I will check you later. Ciao.
Thanks for joining us this week on What Are You Sporting About podcast. Make sure to visit our website, prosportlawyer.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever your favorite platform is, so you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or iHeartRadio. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, What Are You Sporting About? Attorney Sivonnia DeBarros is available for private consulting at sldebarros.com. And remember, we're here to educate, support, and guide you in your journey to success, because we're all sporting about something.